Got ourselves with that bud, yo. Look at this guy. Oh my god, it looks gorgeous. Chicago gonna be first up versus Jay Leon. Trying to go for a knockback. Wait, do this still have that talent where you can go knock with the shields? Is that still a thing? I thought they removed that. Was I wrong about it? I thought that was one of the talents they removed completely. No way. Stunned by Chicago, dropping down that totem next to Jay Leon, just walking in big clobber, second clobber with a karma immediately. What are these clobbering strikes out of Chicago? He just walks by, bonks Jay Leon on a noggin, takes out a good portion of that health bar, gives the guy a bit of the some brain damage with those big slams, and there goes midair. What is that? They're about to buff this class too. They just straight up just unleashed everything. Threw everything at the guy. Holy! Okay, Layson is up next. Last time, oh wait, Layson and Chicago didn't even get to play each other. Layson did end up holding the fort for a good bit. Last Joel does get knocked right out there. I do like that. Quick foul, knock him back out of here as he's trying to see if he can get himself past his damage. In Chicago, an enhancement chum was about to get buffed up. I think they're nerfing the Wind Fury damage a little and that Primordial secondary strike attack, Primordial Storm, but everything else is getting buffed up. Trinket into an interrupt on Layson, does go for a knock here. That Trinket is very aggressive. That lockout on the kick, however, for Shaman is very, very short though. So for Layson, not really worried about, you know, not having a bubble available, but for Chicago, that's a very aggressive Trinket use. Maybe try to see if you could just deny the Searing Glare combo, but it's still gonna happen either way though. But he is at least able to get away from this version, as he's going to mount up on a horse for a second, breaking out of those roots. Wall out for Chicago, does pre-wall the stun here really quickly. Layson positioned himself in a spot where he could just go flying immediately. But I think he was just trying to go for a bit of that line of sight insta. For Chicago, that is quite a bit of damage taken little by little though. The nerf for the whole totemic playstyle, this nerf's big damn. I'm not happy with him at all. Yeah, they're nerfing, they're making the Stormbringer a little bit better. I always call it Tempest because that's the ability you get with the modified lightning bolt, but they're buffing chain lightning, lightning bolt, storm strike, wind strike, ice strike. Yeah, they're buffing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm surprised too, because like I know that totemic is pretty good, but like you also have like people can just run away from your totem too. It's a little harder now, but people still can run away from it. So I was kind of surprised. I thought they were gonna keep that one as is, right? Because at least it's like, well, at least you can have some really good combos. Knock it to Layson, does go for Hand of Freedom. Chicago trying to see if he can get on top of the guy, dropping the totem next to him, trying to see if he can position it correctly. He needs to have a proper go here. Shield of Vengeance is down. Layson got himself big damage, big burst out for Chicago with a Primordial Storm for a second. That's a lot of damage. Stun Chicago does have a stun totem, knocking Layson back. The stun totem could have been huge in just seeing Bulwark down for a second. Layson does have Lay Hands, I think. Blessing of Protection and Bubble. Might have to go for a bubble here though. For Chicago, at least you got a lot of shields banked up. If only you had a Trinket here. If only you had a Trinket there, that would have been mad. Does go for a knock on a Layson, does have himself Wake of Ashes back up. Wall for Chicago, I don't know if you can just continuously keep hammering the damage onto Layson at the moment. That does go for a proper stun. Trinket to follow with a big Primordial, but Layson nowhere near it. As soon as you can get away from that full Primordial Storm ability, you're good. If you can avoid that whole combo, you might be mostly fine. So super low on health, big damage out for Chicago, does go for the bubble. Chicago just needs to live this Layson, especially since he's staying low on health right now. He's hoping to maybe get a stun, maybe Searing Glare combo in Chicago. Does go for a knock as soon as he's out of the bubble. Gives you an opportunity here with a lasso, trinket out for Layson for Chicago. This could be huge. Could go underground. Try to see if you can bait a stun, because if you get stunned underground, Layson can't really like hit you. I'm pretty sure stun can still connect, right? Does get a stun with a knockback immediately. Searing Glare to follow. Does he have, he doesn't really have much of follow-up though. As soon as wings are down, his follow-up is not going to be as good. Stun totem onto Layson. Wall is available. Chicago got himself full bloodless. Everything is up. If you have a proper go here, Shield of Vengeance is going to end up pop and does himself random proc of wings. Or no, that's a Wake of Ashes wings. Never mind. Not a random proc. That is a proper wings though. But try to see if you can use wings just to stave off the damage. Chicago, I think, is now in a bit of advantage right now. Layson not having a bubble does put him in a bit of a vulnerable position. Does have go for a stun. But as soon as wings are down, you are in a bit of a tight spot, friend. Definitely in a bit of a tight spot. Knocking it back. Root to follow does go for lightning bolt from a distance. Layson still super low. Avoiding the blind. Oh, Bob ain't gonna stop you. That ain't gonna stop you. He's hoping that Chicago burns a couple of globals, just remove the bop. He's not even gonna go for it. He's just gonna go for a root, back it up out of there, just go for a reset. As long as Jason doesn't get lay on hands too quickly, then Chicago should be fine. Does go for a knock with a pre-wall for that stun. Layson, maybe you have a combo. Try to go for a kick. Does not connect. That is unfortunate. Layson doesn't go for a nice bait. Knockback onto Layson. Still going to be able to go for a proper setup here with a... Does steering clear stop your totem from being able to stun? Hold on a second. You blame the shaman, not the totem. Put the totem right next to the guy, right? Or does it still avoid it? Shield of Evidence up. Primordial Storm out for Chicago. Super low in health. Might go down. Still trinket to follow. Oh, Layson does turn it around. I actually thought this was where Chicago was going to take it. But Layson was able to press on. Just needed a really, really good setup there for a second. Damn. Damn. Hockey. I like that set. That thing looks good. That's a good looking set. I like the whole dress for look. I hate how it's a druid though. You have form of stars. So you can't even see like the actual full version. You just see like a blue hue of that form. And I guess with all the druid specs, unless you're resto, you can't really see that set. Right? Wild Duel. It was pretty good. I honestly thought this is where Layson was going to go down because it looked like no bubble unless you have lay on hands. But he does swing it. He does come back in. As long as the Pally can get himself a proper stun lock combo, you can get yourself real good damage. Shrink it out for Hockey. Does give the Pally opportunity to go for a Hodge. Searing Glare. He just hoping to live here for a little bit while blind is up. Layson does need some survivability though. Lay on hands could be huge. Hockey just escapes that completely. Does not want to chase. Does not want to continue the duel there. I was about to say does not want to function. But that is... that would really... he does want to function. That just makes no sense. This full burst, it's over. Yeah, as soon as you have no lay on hands, no bubble, no spell warden either does give these casters just a little bit of an opportunity. Azan gonna be up next though. Or TP? No? Really? Really? Seriously? Just because it's a paladin? He decided to make an enemy of all paladins, dude. As soon as he's a dead paladin, nothing makes TP happier than a dead paladin. Like, holy... Man is a criminal. Hand of freedom for Azan, just to make sure he doesn't get rooted. Try to see if he can catch up to Hockey. Hockey power shifted to try to see if he can create some space. Using this line or pillar right here to try to maybe give him some line of sight. There's someone to Azan who's holding on to a Hodge. Silence cannot Hodge for a second. He can still use some of the abilities, but still cannot Hodge. And Hockey using that to reposition away from the guy. As long as you can stay away from Azan, keeping your distance, you'll be just fine. I just learned how to do that. Even a PTR Storm, a new Storm, there would be no way anyone would play with Ascendants. Storm is really, really good. Azan does get super low though for a second. Lay on his last moment. Hockey does get blinded with a stun to follow and nothing he can do unless... Yeah, nothing. The only way I think you make it out of there is if maybe Azan's damage just isn't enough to start being super deadly. Rosie, third over on team 1. We still got Dab, Bud, and TP waiting their turn. This could be a potentially an opportunity for Rosie to possibly have himself a proper go. Rosie versus Conan. Shadow Priest versus Warrior. Technically, Shadow Priest could do pretty well. Dampening is going to be pretty high though, so I don't know how that's going to do it. Rogue, technically, if you can get past the Cloak of Shadows, you can take down the Rogue. It's just a lot of constant pressure from an Outlaw. Maybe like Subtlety would have been something you could trade cooldowns for, but it's rough. Stoner to Azam. Does he have a Trinket? They might just go down here. Hold on. It's just going to be bang. One bang, one bang, one bang. Blah, bubble out of the man. Rosie just to live. Trying to go for shields, but the dampening is making the shield so much weaker. Into Aegis does go for Void Rift. Just to see if he can reposition into a crash. May need to go for Disperse here. Trying to live. Shield of Vengeance out. Has to go trigger Disperse. No. Just fear. Has to disperse. He has to disperse. Try to see if he can just take down Azan without committing too many cooldowns, but there's just not a lot you can do. Getting interrupted on Shadow for a second, but Rosie has enough damage with a bit of that BE. Look at you catch up as much healing as possible. The Rogue is going to be next up. Look at this guy. What is this farmer look he's got going on? Fish in the bag? He got himself fish in hat? But yo, that Butcher's Blade does look good. The hook, I think maybe it's supposed to be like... I don't know. Is that supposed to be like a scythe to like harvest fields or something? I know there's like the Maldraxxus version you got, which looks a little more deadly. I wonder, isn't that like a normal farming tool, like a farming scythe that you can get from like your garrison? I think the markets are good. I'm just trying to make a suggestion of like the scythe that you got. Maybe like a little less deadlier one, I think would also work pretty well. Unless that thing counts as a dagger, and then yeah, you can't equip that one properly. But he is going to be right on top of you, actually right behind you, in fact. Does go, I just noticed his shoulders. One is like a voidy, one is a light one. I actually like that a lot. I like that. Fear immediately onto word. Does give Rose an opportunity to at least have himself a proper go. Does use a human racial already for the stun breaker. So you won't have any LCC breaker. Killing spree immediately out for word. Even though he can deny some damage while spree is up, that constant pressure with the Shadow Priest though is still gonna attack it either way. Building up quite a bit of damage off of that tentacle, but a Shadow Crash does connect. This is what Rose needs, is poke damage. And as long as you can get past the cloak of a rogue, you really can take down the rogue really quickly. Shadow Priest used to be like an easy target for rogues, in my opinion, as somebody who's been playing rogue since like at least Mob. I feel like I always felt like, oh, Calathi, easy. Maybe like some expansions that were not that bad, not that easy. But I feel like this time around, like the whole combo that can do, the damage with the rift and everything, that is painful. If you just let it, old DPs go flying, which everything is instacast, it's really tough to stop it. Plus it can move while the rift is happening, so it's hard to kick it. Does go for the cloak. This is where Rosie does have disperse. Could potentially just disperse it just to deny the damage here. Taking a lot of hits, waiting for the cloak, for the fear to follow, letting that rift does collapse onto where it gives you an opportunity to at least have a setup. He goes in for advantage. He's still having some big defenses. We're super low. You do get Aegis proccing really quickly. VE and DE Desperate Prayer are up. As long as you don't get kicked, you'll be fine. Does go for disperse. We're still taking so much damage from the dots. Next rift is probably going to be the end of him. And Rosie can go behind the pillar to at least heal. 64% dampening. Word decides to go in there unless you get a kick. Does get himself full go. DPS. Oh, does get himself a quick blast with Conan charging out. I don't think Conan is going to give you a breather here. Oh, fear. He jerkers it. Stunned. So you have reflect. I think it's over. Void out rift. Fade. Stun. He trinkets it. Unless you can kite him. I don't think it can do much. Spear does avoid it. It does get a slow with the side feed. That is huge. And you got to just keep it next to side feed. Going for a leap. Trying to connect as long as Rosie can stay away. 40 seconds with a disperse. Actually, he's got himself full wombo combo. Next fear, he won't have Xerxes for it, so you can get a setup. Then you can follow up with a stun. You can follow up with some damage. He doesn't have a wall anymore. Fear, you can fear yourself, but he's got to just Blade Storm. You just got to wait it out. Oh, fear! You got to reflect for a second. You got to be careful. Better damage. Void Torrent, everything is available. That's huge damage right now. Hold on a second. Does Sharpers bring it back? Bunch of cast? Instance? Oh! Holy! I felt like for the last two matches, Fury Warrior could definitely die to a Shadow Priest. I thought the Rogue was going to have the easiest time there, though. But Rosie pulled it off! Well done! Gotta love a good Shadow Priest, man. I love it.